Hello, something a bit different today. You may be able to see what's on the bench. It's a very old box. It's actually a domestic iron that I've bought off eBay for something ridiculous. I think it was £5. And what caught my eye was just the fact that it was boxed and it was GEC. And I think I've mentioned on previous videos, I actually started working for GEC first. They trained me as a telecoms engineer. And GEC, it's a General Electric company in the UK. Nothing to do with the US General Electric, but GEC were huge in the UK. They owned all sorts of different brands, and so this just caught my eye. I was actually part of the reason I bought this was that I was doing some veneering, wood veneering, a few weeks ago, and I was just for speed using iron-on edging veneer, and I was using quite expensive Bosch steam iron, modern steam iron, and not only was my wife not happy, but actually for veneering it's not very good because it's got an aluminium sole base plate, and it's not. It's kind of machined, it's got vents for steam and ports and all sorts of things in the bottom, so it's not very heavy, so it's not very good for veneering. So I was actually looking for veneer irons on eBay, and I saw this, not a veneer iron. I could use it for veneer. It's certainly heavy enough to use for veneering, but anyway, so I thought we'd have a look at it. I'm going to put a new flex on it because the flex on there doesn't look particularly good, and I thought it would be interesting to look at it. So as you can see from the box, everything GEC Electrical, or GEC Everything Electrical, and they really did make pretty much everything electrical, from power station generators and switch gear down to radios and domestic appliances, TVs, all sorts of things. Unfortunately, they made some terrible decisions just before the dot-com bubble burst around 2000, 1999, 2000. Invested a load of money in companies that then ended up disappearing during the dot-com bubble bursting in 2001. So they're no longer around. It became Marconi, and then I think parts of it were bought by Siemens, and yeah, it's basically not around anymore. Very sad, but GEC, they had a very cool logo as well, and this just caught my eye. So everything electrical. So while I was researching for this video, I found this quite amazing advert called "You'll Be Happy with the GEC," and then "The Bride's Iron." And I wanted to include it here because it's quite an amazing, just shows how much the world has changed in the last few years. You can see here that basically this is talking about the iron as being a great gift for a bride, for every woman, which obviously you wouldn't even consider saying these days. But it just shows, this is probably from maybe the 50s. It's a different iron to the one that I've been rebuilding here. It just shows how much the world has changed. It talks about no wonder that thousands of women are treating themselves to the bride's iron. I assume it wasn't just a marketing tag. It seems to have been the product name. So yeah, quite amazing. And I just wanted to show it here just because it's a really interesting thing. Just have a look at the box. You can see it's a British quality product, GEC Electric Iron, and I mean the box is beautiful. It's very simple but very beautiful. So I want to look after the box. It looks as though they use Gill Sans font, which I really like, my favourite font. So the end of the box, GEC Electric Iron, the weight £5, consumption 450 watts, voltage 220, 230, so it's fine on 240 volts. So there we have thereabouts now. And finish is chromium plate, and it's made in England. The other side is the same, and the end just says GEC Electric Iron, made by the General Electric Company Limited of England. So it's a very sturdy box as well, stapled together at the bottom. So yeah, I want to look after this box. So if we look inside, there's, behold the beauty. I'd say this is probably from the 50s or 60s, certainly not the 70s. Can't imagine it. No, I think 50s or 60s. So this is the, I assume, the original plug that was fitted. It's broken, and it's made of bakelite, and it's round pin, which I don't know when we stopped using round pin plugs. I've never known round pin plugs. Very simple plug with the pins going through to the terminals, earth, neutral and line, and then that's the cord grip there, I assume. So very simple plug, kind of made of bakelite or phenolic resin. Not going to do anything with that, obviously, but I will leave it in the box. So that came in the box. There's the flex or cable that's on it. It's cloth covered as is normal with irons. I dread to think what's under there. There's insulation tape on that bit of the flex. There's also tape kind of in there. Looks like fabric tape. This plug is modern. I mean, this is modern style plug. It's got the shrouded or sheathed line and neutral pins. So it's a modern UK plug, but not quite sure what's gone on there. And also the fact that there's, I assume it's got burned or chopped or something. So I'm going to replace the cable with a modern version. I couldn't get coloured sheath. It is kind of nylon covered, but just plain black. And it's got moulded on plug. So yeah, so I'm going to replace the plug basically. And there is the iron. It's incredibly heavy. I mean, it's very well worn as well. So I don't know if it works. I'm not going to plug it in with this flex, but when we'll see if it switches on and heats up. The sole is fairly well worn, but it's fairly smooth. There's a metal plate there, GEC Electric Iron, and just some information about it, how many watts, serial number, catalogue number, the volts, the weight. They seem to like telling you about the weight. Made in England, British design, applied for. I think that says British design. Oh, British registered design, applied for. That makes more sense. So yeah, so it's an incredibly heavy thing. A bakelite handle. It's not cracked or broken. The flex, as you can see, just goes in the back. The flex grip kind of swivels, and there's a screw there. So I'm assuming. It is damaged there. Okay, so you can see it's chipped on the back of the handle. But anyway, I assume we take the cover off and we can get to the terminals and replace the flex. Should be pretty simple. So what else is in the box? So we have a little tag talking about earthing. So I assume this is because electrical items in the UK didn't come fitted with plugs until about 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I remember when I was a kid, you'd buy something, or your parents would buy something, you'd be hunting around for a plug to put on it. You just get the bare wires, or the cut end of the wire. So I think this is telling you how to fit the plug. And it's quite interesting looking at it because it's talking about this flexible. So in the UK, we kind of talk about this being a flex, which is short for flexible, I guess. Kind of an old way of talking about it, calling it a flex. Most people would call it a cable. But yeah, I don't know if flex applies more to fabric covered cables. Yeah, so basically saying it needs to be earthed. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that's in the box is this. So it's a little bit mouldy or worn, but anyway, so we've got the guarantee, which is all very nice. This guarantee is only valid whilst the goods remain the property of the original user. So I can't claim on the guarantee if it doesn't work. July 1949. Wow. Instruction card reprinted July 1949. Okay, so it's telling us about the earthing again. And when starting from cold, leave the iron on circuit for a few moments to enable it to get thoroughly heated. If the iron gets too hot, switch off the current. You do not need an ordinary iron stand. Tilt the iron over onto the backrest, which is provided for this purpose. Wow, okay, so 1949 it looked. Certainly the guarantee card was from 1949. So it's older than I thought. It's all the more impressive that it's survived. What's that? It's 70 years ago. Okay, right, so let's have a look inside, which is always very exciting with 70-year-old electrical items. Okay, well, there you go. So hopefully you can see got red line, black. It looks a bit blue, but that must be black for the neutral, and then we've got green for the earth. And okay, that's just a cord grip to stop it being pulled through. So very simple. So just undo these. It's also interesting how on old electrical items they would just loop the wire under a screw. I mean, very nicely done, but must be quite a fiddle on the production line to terminate this. You would think they would have thought maybe a ring terminal or something crimped on the end would be good, or you know, just a hole with a screw to clamp. You just put the wire in straight. Anyway, different times. So okay, so I will replace this and then I'll bring it back and then we'll switch it on. The main event. Very magnetic. Right, well, that was fun. So I have, in the end I just thought, you know what, a moulded plug on something this nice is not right, so I've put on a black replacement plug. This wire, this flex is really, well, it's not hot. It's the first time I've replaced a flex on an iron, and basically the construction is the same as this. So there's no PVC or rubber insulation outside of the three individual wires. These are rubber insulated. So there's no outer sheath. There's packing, this kind of cotton thread in between, filling the, making it round, and then there's just the outside braid, and so I guess that's why it's very flexible. Never really thought before on an iron. Anyway, it's a pig to try and cut, because you just can't. There's just no way really to go around it with a knife. So cutting the braiding and this cotton was just a nightmare. Anyway, so this is going to go in the bin. Let's can't even see the end to have a look why that. Hang on. Let's just see what actually was damaged in this. Probably just fraying or something, but you never know. Oh, ooh, okay. Right. God knows what's happened to that. I mean, the braiding has been completely cut, but the wires inside don't look damaged from what I can see. So, so I've put a new plug on the new cable, and then I have re-terminated the wires inside the iron. So obviously this is modern colour coding, earth, neutral and line. I did it in the way that GEC had done it, so I just bared the wires and then wrapped it around the screw and twisted it. These are really nicely done. I don't know if they're done, I assume they are done manually, but very nice. It's a heck of a fiddle. I mean, I can't imagine doing that on a production line all day. Yeah, but anyway, I thought I would keep it as original as possible for no particular reason, just because. And so it should be, if I put the cover back on. It's a shame that's chipped, otherwise this would be perfect. But then for £5 and 70 years, it's not too bad. So let's just do this up. Let's put the back on the plug. I used crimps on the end of the wires. I put a 5 amp fuse in as well. What was it, 450 watts? Yeah, so 3 amp might work, but I went with a 5 amp. Okay, so we are ready to plug it in. It's a shame I can't give you any idea of how heavy this thing is. Oh, actually, before I do that, what I did think about doing, just checking the resistance between line and earth. Okay, so doesn't really matter, but so that's the earth pin, and then line. Okay, earth to neutral, open. And then neutral. So 0.1 kilo, so 100 ohms. Is that right? 100 ohms between line and neutral. Yeah, 103 ohms. So that would be okay. Well, let's see what happens. It's not a short circuit. Let's switch it on. That's a good sign. Oh, it's getting warm. There you go. It's getting warm. It will iron. As I say, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use it. I may use it for veneer. It's very. You wouldn't want to do a lot of veneering with it actually. It's so heavy, but I mean, there's no temperature control on it. But it's getting hot. It's heavy. It's flat. Very smooth. You can see very smooth base plate. Yeah, we will see. It's heating up. Okay, so there you go. Switch it off. A 70-year-old GEC Iron, made in England. Instruction cards from July 1949, so I assume the iron's from around then, just after. Rewired with a flex, and that can go in the bin. There's the terminations from 70 years ago. The other, not weird thing, but the earth screw is smaller than the line in neutral, which again, just not made for easy production. But that's going in the bin, and I think that's the end of the video. So right, well, thank you, and until next time, bye.